Hello Simmers, welcome to my channel Simsational Builds. My name is Deb and thanks for joining me for part 2 of my custom content and mods feature. So if you missed part 1 and are a newbie to mods, not quite sure how to do it, I'll put the link for the first part up in this video at the top for you. I feel like whenever I see Simmers talk about custom content or feature custom content in any of their YouTube videos, 99% of the time, it seems like it always is for Creator Sim. So being a builder myself, I just wanted to do a bit of a feature on my top 10 favorite build and buy custom content creators and 5 of the best mods that are for builders. So getting straight into it, my top Maxis Match CC creators. Number 1 would be Ravasheen. Now, if you haven't heard of her before, you must be living under a rock, quite honestly, because she is one of the biggest custom content creators out there, especially for build mode. She has been around for quite a long time, and probably one of her most famous build buy objects would be the bunk bed. Now, obviously, we've just received bunk beds in our base game update. Check her out there, especially if you're bored of the 2 options that we currently have. So she has a really beautiful one, and I believe she'll be working on some new ones as well. Other than that, she also creates stunning furniture, and her kitchens are honestly one of my favorite ones. The details are really beautiful. She also has been working on some items that also function as mods. So for example, she has like a item that's a food spawner or storage options and things like that. So to check her out, she is on Patreon and the Sims resource. I'll put all the links for her and all the following creators in my description below for you guys as well, so you can check her out there. Number 2 would be Harrie. Now, Harrie creates some really stunning and super high quality custom content. I find she's really good at melding together modern and traditional styles. So she doesn't have a huge amount available. She is mostly predominantly on Patreon, but she does have a few available for free as well, and they are really worthwhile having a look at. She is available on Patreon, Tumblr, and she also has her own website, which is called House of Harlix, which is in collaboration with my next creator, Felixandre. Felixandre is particularly skilled at creating build mode items, particularly in period styles such as like Gothic, Tudor, French Baroque, traditional Japanese, Georgian, things like that. So we're talking things like windows, doors, ceiling decorations, things like that. So if you really want to take those sort of builds to the next level, he's definitely the custom content creator that you want to check out. And he is on Tumblr, Patreon, his own website, House of Harlix as well. So talking about that House of Harlix website, Harrie and Felixandre are quite famous for doing their own collaboration packs. You know, we're talking 60 plus items, and they've recently created a living room package, bathroom, kitchen, things like that. So definitely well worth checking out there also. Next, number 4 is Peacemaker. Now, Peacemaker creates gorgeous and on-trend build-buy objects that I would 100% buy for my own home. Now, he's created some of the best Hampton-style objects that I've actually seen, and I'm a Hampton-style girl myself. I absolutely love it. He also does some really great add-ons to existing packs, like such as Paranormal, for example. So added in the same style, he's added beds, ottomans, dining tables, things like that. So in the same swatches also. So if you want to build upon the packs that you already have, he's a great one to do that with also. He not only does Hamptons, he also does some modern, Scandi, mid-century styles, and some really nice wall and floor tiles as well. So he is on Tumblr and Patreon. Number 5 on my list, and the last of the Maxis Match creators, is 876 Simmer. Now, she does some really nice custom content, especially like lounge rooms and bedrooms mostly. But why I wanted to feature her was that she creates some really cool community lots. So in particular, I'm talking McDonald's, Olive Garden, Chick-fil-A, IHOP, things like that. And although she does use some external CC in those ones, I think she's put them together really well, and she's well worth a mention there if you want to add those into your game. And she's available on Tumblr and Patreon. So number 6 on my list, and the first one for my Alpha CC creators, is Mutske, sorry if I said that wrong. Now, she is on the Sims resource and has some 300 million plus downloads, so she's definitely well known. And I think she's particularly well known and is really good at creating build mode items like windows, doors, and arches, things like that. And she's got a whole bunch of different styles. So if you need something like that added to your game, definitely would check her out. Next on my list is Severinka. Now, she was probably one of the first creators of CC that I've used, And she is also huge on the Sims resource, some 430 odd million plus downloads. She has a huge amount of sets in a huge amount of styles. Honestly, you could find anything on her page, anything and everything. We're talking, you know, modern, bohemian, country, literally anything and everything in between that as well. Well worth checking out, and she does it beautifully. Again, on-trend stuff, things you would see in the shops today as well. So really, really nice. Definitely check her out. So yeah, like I said, she is on the Sims resource. Next one up is SIMcredible, another big one on the Sims resource, and she again has heaps and heaps of styles available for download, and she's particularly good at that really hyper realistic alpha design. So really detailed, huge amount of textures, things like that. Again, lots of items, really nice stuff, worth a check out on the Sims resource as well. Number 9 is Nynaeve Design. Now, she has, again, really nice modern style custom content. So we're talking modern and some ultra modern styles also. But the reason I wanted to feature her is because she has really, really cool Pokemon kids rooms and toys. They are awesome, and also some cool clutter as well, so things separate from sets, so you know, kitchen appliances and food, things like that. But number 1, plants. She has so many plants, and they're so beautiful in so many different you know, types of plants as well. Oh, if you're a plant lover like me, have to look at this one. 100% have to look at her. She is on the Sims resource and on Patreon. So number 10 on my list of custom content creators is Soloriya. She does fantastic clutter and decor sets. So not so much, although she does do some full sets as well, you know, furniture also, but her clutter is next level. So we're talking anything and everything, you know, gym weights, custom content, instruments, things for picnics and marketplaces, stuff for farms, chickens and pigs if you want to start having a, you know, start putting a bit more of that farm gameplay as well into your game. And the kids stuff, oh my gosh, she's got great kids stuff as well for like kids' birthday parties. This is something that very few creators actually have made, and she does it perfectly. We're talking, you know, Instagram worthy kids' birthday parties. Definitely check her out. She's on the Sims resource, Tumblr, and on Patreon as well. So next we're going into mods. So mods obviously being that they modify the gameplay itself rather than just adding items. So I have my top 5 mods for builders specifically. So obviously there's heaps and heaps of different mods out there that are particularly good at adding to gameplay and things like that, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. This isn't my top 5 favorite mods of all time or top most necessary mods of all time that you need in your game. This is specifically for BuildBuy. So number 1 is Better BuildBuy by TwistedMexi, and TwistedMexi actually has a few that I'll mention today. But for Better BuildBuy, it basically and most simply organizes your BuildBuy catalog, particularly when you're talking about debug items. So it actually organizes your debug menu. So we're talking named debug. You can actually search for, you know, food or trees or, you know, a pole or whatever the case might be, whereas before you had to just sort of scroll through the however many hundreds or thousands of items before you could actually find what you're looking for. This has been one of the most useful things that I personally have found. It took me a minute to actually get used to it, but once I did, I don't think I could actually live without it now. Another huge thing is that the items are now in their correct categories. So again, if you're looking for plants and trees, you just need to go to the landscape category in your menu, in your UI, and they will all be in there. You can also clone debug items. So you can shift click and continue clicking multiple items, whereas before you had to go into the menu again, find the item and click it down also. It also gives you an expandable catalog and also includes build mode free cam. So that's when you're usually in live mode, you'll hit the tab button and you can move the camera around. This is actually part of that mod where you can use that in build mode as well, which is really good for taking screenshots. So he is on his own website and on Patreon as well. Next up, we have the T.O.O.L mod, which is takes objects off lot, also by TwistedMexi. Now, this is a huge mod that I wouldn't be able to talk through completely in this short video. If you're interested, you will have to look it up, but in, again, its most basic form, it allows you to place objects outside of your normal grid So you can place objects in like basically anywhere on the map. But it also, and this is what I tend to use it for, allows you to rotate objects, scale them to any sort of scale, raise them, lower them, tilt them to any smallest degree. So again, website and Patreon. The last one by TwistedMexi is Better Exceptions. So this one here is particularly good if you do have a lot of custom content in your game. The reason why is that this will actually pick up if your game is showing, say, a last exception alert or a last exception pop-up. This mod will generate a report to tell you what CC item is actually causing that report. And so sometimes these CC items are broken or corrupt or could even cause your games to crash or something like that. And this will actually come up with a list and tell you which item or items are causing problems within your game, so you can quickly nip them in the bud and delete them or change them or whatever you need to do. So I find this one really helpful. It also shows a report when you download the newest patch, which will show what custom content or what mods will potentially clash with that patch. And it will basically tell you if there's any mods that will be recommended to be updated. Well worth it. So that's the last one by TwistedMexi. On his website, on his Patreon, get on it. Number 4 in my mods collection is the OMSP red shelf. And it's a really deep shelf with lots of small, medium and large slots that you can place objects on, like lots of clutter, for example. And using it like a normal shelf, you slide it up or down to whatever height you need. So if you want to put clutter items on top of a fridge, for example, you need to hit the 9 button to raise that item. And sometimes there's a bit of a gap. If you go at eye level, you'll notice that there's a bit of a gap because you can't get it to exactly the right height of that object. So by putting those objects onto this shelf and then raising that shelf up using that Alt key to the right height, you can actually get it to be perfectly flush on top of whatever object that you want to do it on. The OMSP shelf is on Tumblr, so check that one out there. Last but very much not least is MC Command Center by T.O.O.L. This is arguably one of the biggest mods that you can get for your game. And it is also probably used much more, or definitely used much more for gameplay than for building. But I do have my reasons for having it in this list as well. Again, this is another one that I cannot even begin to touch upon the surface of in this video. So if you are interested in what I'm about to say, have a look on their website. I 100% use it for my gameplay as well. But in build mode, what I use it for is essentially, I find it really useful for being able to change the season and the weather, as well as the time of day. So I use this for taking screenshots. Because I have my Instagram page, obviously, and I like to take photos of my builds. So obviously sometimes it's raining or it's, dead of winter or it's getting dark and I can't be bothered waiting for it to get to that same time of day the next day. So I'll be able to change it through the mod itself. Like I say, this one usually is gameplay and does more things like story progression. For example, unplayed Sims and townies continue getting pregnant and married as your game goes on. Best check it up if you want to have a look at all the features, but it is one of the best, one of the biggest and most used mods within The Sims 4 as well. So T.O.O.L has their own website, so check them out there. And again, links are below in the description. So thanks everyone. That basically covers all my favorites, and I won't lie, I had a massive CC download spree when I was going through this list and going through all my favorites pages, because there was, new stuff that I hadn't noticed or old stuff that I hadn't realized was there as well. So I hope you have fun downloading too. Like I said, all the links will be in the description below, and please let me know your favorites in the comments below as well. I'd love to start a thread with all of our favorites that, anyone can have a browse through, have a click through. So please pop them down below. I would love to hear from you. And as always, have a nice day, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again here next time. Thanks everyone. Bye for now.